Oh my God. Oh my God. It's coming down to, oh my God. I walked in to Walmart 62. Little bitch bastard. She's in here today. Did you tell security? They already know. I'll tell you what. If I find out you're talking to security while I'm in there, and you're slandering me, and they don't call the police that you're stalking and harassing me, I will sue Walmart. I will sue any place that does not report you for stalking and harassment. I got home and I went out to my car. Before I went out to my car, and I sat down and told on all the people that I've told on these people for drugs and photoshopping before with their stalking, and rambled through everything. Okay, I got home. They're like swarming outside my apartment. So it's like in my apartment's bugged from that protective light case, and they hacked into that and sold it. And it's like, you want me to prove there's nothing against me? And da-da-da-da-da. I look up Stark County CGIS. There's nothing. There was some tax liens where we had to pay them off back in like 2005, 6 or whatever. Paid it off or removed. Let's see. That's about it in my one traffic ticket. Go under Portage County Courthouse. It's my divorce without children. They made all this shit up. Where that agent didn't want to help me and cut a deal with Michelle's parents and bragged foolishly in Walmart in front of people, tape and audio. They did that, and it was a setup. And everything he said to me was illegal, except for listing me an informant and put me in police protective custody because he acknowledged the girlfriend. So the other guy in the office, and that's who was doing it, their family, and then a cult. Yeah, on their own. And he threatened a witness and a victim of a violent crime because he didn't want to go pull that surveillance because he had nailed Dave. And there was witnesses in that day, in that Huntington, right in front of that Huntington Bank inside that Giant Eagle, under both surveillances. And people get screamed at to stay out of this and everything else. And he didn't want to hear it because he would have had to arrest Dave. And he committed a lot of crimes on a recorded line. And he was setting me up because he didn't want to help me. But he put me in police protective custody. And he started a state case and had a cop talk to Dave, per requirements of Department of Justice. And in that, they knew they were getting recorded, that they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa, and I need to get out. And they were making everything up. And all the police know they lied. And they were documenting me games of pretend. I went and, yeah, this harassment and nonsense will stop. Or anywhere you're at, you mention anything to me, any kind of security, and you slander me, and they don't look at you and say, if you open your mouth again, I'm going to call the police on you for stalking and harassing that poor woman. Because some of the Walmart police were carrying around the House state case. That's what officers in uniform. Some of them helped watch me. So, yeah, and they all know, we all know this woman's innocent. And those are documented me games of pretend, and her children spoke highly of her. Found innocent in 18. Mathland police will verify it. They watched Dixie on Fairdown Avenue, and you know what? They'll tell you she's innocent of everything and to leave her alone. They're documenting me games of pretend. Yeah, everybody just scattered when I loaded the Stark County CGIS, and there's nothing but some paid-off tax liens and my one traffic ticket. And under Portage County Courthouse records, the only thing is my divorce. In their little psycho world, they think they can lie and say, the police broke your door in and we're watching you. I went to the police. We weren't in there. That'd be illegal. Not one of our officers have any knowledge of that. That would be illegal. I said, you couldn't look or listen. It's the Fourth Amendment. They said they put a shower scene. I told them all about the people talking to the Canton police. And mouth dropped open. I said I had bruises. They lied. They had sodium pentothal reports. And then it came out it was date rape drugs, so I wouldn't remember. We have no knowledge of anything that you're saying, and that would be illegal. I said, be illegal, look or listen. Yes. So they won't even look at their shit. And they're saying their cops weren't in there because they're not kicking in somebody's door within 6 days of them trying to move in and start stalking for a retired judge's daughter. That's a long time in prison. Let alone photoshopping scenes and date rape drugging people. Yeah, they're never going to admit to be in there or knowledge of it. If they were involved, they're not going to admit to it. Yeah. And like I said, my one old neighbor, you know, you see people, but you don't know him. He lived like 3 or 4 houses down. He was in McDonald's on Whipple and Hills and Dales Road corner, February 25th, 22. That my ex-husband had showed up at a store in Ravenna, told everybody he didn't want me anymore, and asked all those people to help get rid of me. And all these people helped agree to kill me. That's why my door got kicked in. And in 3 days, they started stalking me and date rape drugging me. I don't get in trouble for that, and none of that shit's admissible. And the police are looking for who's exactly doing this to me. And they told my one client that lives on Turquoise Street, across the way, they already know all those weird tapes before were them and not me. And they're looking for who's doing it. And they said they even knew that agent didn't want to help me. That's why he called me a liar and was so mean and cruel. And he knew everything. But to cover his ass, he started the protective light case and had a cop talk to Dave so they could watch me. And those kids were out there talking that those people were telling everybody the FBI was running it and the FBI had nothing to do with it, and they were FBI. So they get away with hurting me. And until all these people started telling on them, yeah, they didn't know it wasn't them. Yeah, I'm not the one in trouble. They know about the shower scene in the other room and the drugs and told to say stuff. And what's amazing is they don't have, there's people that didn't have drugs and told to say stuff and no wrong saying and no shower scene. They had photoshopped so much stuff in and out. It's remarkable of what some ladies, like I've heard so many different versions of the tapes before, I never want to hear about them. Well, they can't even look at them because they were like one of my protective life people. All their evidence was illegally obtained and can't be used. Like the Massillon police officer, November 24, 21, 8:40 a.m. Altman Emergency Room Stat Care on Wales Road. I'm here to watch her. There's a Steve and Eric stalking her. And we don't know who they are yet. And it's finally got funny. After everything they did, nothing's admissible. Just like when I went to confront the Portage County Sheriff in a taped recorded room. Yeah. Miss Hall, I can guarantee not one of our officers would ever be in your home before a protective light case. And I said, you have to have the statements recorded or you can't look or listen. Yes. He said that would be illegal. And I told him about the shower scene and them going to the Canton police and investigators. His mouth dropped open. And I said they lied. They had sodium pentothal reports and I was getting sick on drinks and had bruises. And I never talked to anybody. And I said, they're supposed to have these weird confessions. He said, we could never look or listen, nor do we have any knowledge of any of these people, what they are saying to you, and what they're saying is illegal. And I said, you couldn't look or listen. It's the Fourth Amendment. Yes. And he said, I can guarantee not one of our officers were ever in your home before a protective light case. I said, with the statements, yes. Because that would be illegal. I told him about them impersonating a federal officer. I called the FBI back, his mouth dropped open, and the men on the other side of the duplex having a copy of my phone outside mocking me. And I said, the Canton police already know they did it. See that agent? To cover his ass, opened a state case. Portage County wasn't the only one working at Canton. Massillon, Stark County Sheriff's. Canal Fulton Police said something to me. Minerva Undercover Police. I go somewhere and if an officer thinks I need to know something or they're just being nice, they'll come up and say something. And like they say, for we all know this woman's innocent. Now they're looking for these people that are put behind this. They want to go to jail, right, for stalking? The stalking and harassment needs to stop. I almost died to save my family. That one officer's name was John. He was a young guy with black hair and glasses. They'd say, John's here to take care of Karen. I'd look over and he'd yell out, it's ridiculous for any child to be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good in love. He stopped goons at the door January 12, 22 at Walgreens, North Main, 4:58 p.m. One of those kids that get caught stating they made everything up. Oh, they're documenting me games of pretend. Because they wanted the house for the pathetic retired judge's daughter. For the house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. And then later on, for we're making everything up. They're documenting me games of pretend. A whole family spoke highly of me. And they need to realize how not funny this is, helping a Jim Jones a call in it with a retired pathetic judge that would stoop this low for his baby girl to get a husband. And the only thing that's funny on this, she dumped him. He dumped her. Within 6 weeks of getting everything, he dumped her. Because they left me alone for a while. And they showed up on Thanksgiving. Started harassing me again. Well, I asked my daughter-in-law, Dixie. I said, did you know about Michelle? Yeah, I know about Michelle. He said he hadn't been with her in a long time. That was way before Kathy. And Kathy makes no sense. Okay? And I got to thinking, Kathy was over 1.5 years ago. And if it was a long time before that, they showed back up on Thanksgiving. They didn't last 6 weeks after the divorce. He got what he wanted, and he dumped that stupid bitch. One of my guys from the Protected Life case, he manipulated all these people to get everything he wanted. He just used them. And they're so stupid running around, making fun of me for people kicking in my door before I even get moved in. For a retired judge that had him and his dirty friends in that store break in my house, stalk me, Photoshop me, and date rape drug me. That's highly illegal. Nor is it admissible, nor can they look at it, nor can they say a word to me. One officer already told me that. We'd never say a word. Or wait a minute, I take that back. Somebody else said that. They would never say a word to you about this. They can't. What are they going to say? Some stalker broke your door in the first 6 days, started stalking you, photoshopping you, and date rape drugged you? Yes, I want to press charges. Huh? Because I'll tell you what, their tapes are so altered. March 2nd to the 3rd, 21, 8 to 10:30 at night, the car tape got them from the Protected Life case. And they sold it. They hacked into it. They're that advanced. And sold it. They said they were going to put 2 clips together, put me in a porn. It's not her, it's them. They're going to make something dirty. Well, March 13, 21, I went to Altman Hospital. Now, it's just this people in the store at Ravenna. I went to Altman Hospital. They had fake FBI badges. And Altman Hospital left the fake people in the back. And that weird Eric is calling a nurse bad-mouthing me lying. That's why he's wanted for stalking. You want to be known for stalking? Lying to a nurse and security so they call me bad names? I reported it, and they'll take care of their staff. Okay? Well, I left and went to Mercy Medical. Somebody was outside my room. One of Will's promises is a life of peace as an informant. No man would ever touch me. Okay? They came in and said no man was ever to touch her. Okay? Nurse comes in laughing. There's a guy standing beside her. The only thing they had you on was adjusting yourself. I looked at her, what? And he said, that's sick. She went straight down and said, no, she just simply wiped off some water with clothes on. That's all they had. It was funny. It's actually funny. That's all they had. She had no drugs and told to say stuff. She had no wrong speaking and no shower scene. She had nothing. A ladies group showed up January of this year, Circle K gas station, Fulton Road by 6th Street. I'm using the bathroom between 7 and 9 in the morning. We're here, we're here to verify that she's never said she did anything wrong before. We made a big mistake being in her home. And her, where they entered the 2 clips together, put me in a porn, hers wasn't even that bad, and I don't care about that. These people raped her. Okay? And then there was one, I guess, exposed. It's washing. Because I'm sitting alone in my apartment. And they're like, you're weird, you exposed. I'm like, dear God. You know what I mean? I'm like, dear God. My stomach bled. My stomach bled. And I'm like, that never happened. Okay? And then I'm thinking, 2 clips together put me in a porn. It's not me, it's them. Okay? So it's my head on somebody's body, because you can Photoshop anything. And then it's like, they kept saying it. And I thought, they're describing washing. You wash yourself. And it's the only time I touch myself like that is showering. You wash. I walk outside. She figured out what they did. They're laughing at me. My car's bugged. That's where May 12th, 22, Bubba's Restaurant. At noon, they're screaming at different police departments driving by. We found a tape of those boys emitting a shower scene in the other room. None of this is funny. May 26th, 22, at KFC in Belden. The shower scene in the other room was done on purpose to make you look weird with yourself, and they can't use it because some idiot man told on them. It's like, thank you for confirming that. December 9, 21, Stark County Hunger Task Force. White man bald with dark eyes actually worked the case. He was an extra security guard. Came out and told everybody. We always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. Same day, December 9, 21, 4 p.m., at the Oakland apartment on Cleveland Avenue in Canton. They called him at 4 o'clock and said all the tapes before were them and not her. And it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. They both talked to the Canton police and investigators. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory, a fiasco day. Buy the men's clothing. Some guy that looks like the guy that went to Paymer personally admitted he drugged me and told me say it before. People ran in Save-A-Lot. My one client lives on 6th Street. They ran out of the house and yelled it to the postman. The postman's like, we all heard it. I don't even have to have my phone on because it's bugged from the protector light case and they can hear. January 19, 22, Department of Disability on Whipple Avenue. I'm in there with my client at 11 a.m. Now, they tape an audio in there, and the Canton police are in there, okay, for security. They had to buzz them in the back, tape an audio in the hallway. She was drugged and told us that before, and they're like, somebody needs to help her. That's why Canton's been all over this, okay? They were around for March 24, 22. You framed her before? Yeah, we framed her before. Shame on you. I know, I wish we wouldn't have done it. Those people who raped her, they're screaming outside my apartment. Everybody heard my car's bugged. Okay, so that's where the May 12th and then the May 26th, and by June 7th, my client out on Turquoise Street, I walk out about 6 o'clock in the morning. The split level across the way, there's that lady officer has been looking into everything. Told him we already know the tapes before were them and not her. And we're looking for who actually did this to her. Okay? We didn't realize it. Well, 2 of their teenagers yesterday walked by me. We were talking about all this with our teacher at school. That agent called her a liar and everything else and was mean to her. And he knew everything because he didn't want to help her. And all these bad things happened to her because that agent didn't want to bother. Okay? And that lady officer told us that that they were telling everybody they were FBI, they were running it, and to stay out of it. And they found out because all these people told on them that it was just them doing it, and now they're looking for who's doing it. So, but that agent, to cover his ass, started a state case, had a protected home custody case, turned it over to the police, and then had an officer talk to Dave per requirements of Department of Justice 4th Amendment to watch somebody in their home. Otherwise, it's a legal search and seizure. And any officer saying they're breaking in somebody's home and stalking them and date rape, drugging them, and photoshopping to extort money is 5 to 10 or more years in jail. Yeah, they're never going to admit they were in my home. Ever. Ever. 8/9/21, first thing in the morning, the apartment building informed me second close defense ratted out Dave and told the police a few days later, where he defends me on tape. Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids. You wouldn't hurt anyone. Police also have the same tapes I do. They come from Karen around the house state case. 1295 Fairlawn, middle apartment, little white lady screamed at him for doing it. Talked to several people. Wendy Screw, May 25th, 21, 6 p.m. in front of my other client in Louisville. We're talking about the church people breaking in before drugging me and telling me to say weirdo stuff. My old client told Jim and Brian, my neighbors, he heard it and it was too dark for him. My one client that I was helping take care of on 6th Street, he's like, Karen, this is crazy. And I'm like, who's crazy? He said, these people, they admit to drugging you and telling you to say it before admit to raping you in front of people. I'm like, stay out of it. I'll tell the police. So the slander will stop. I can pass a BCI background check right below FBI. I have no accusations. I have no criminal background. Do we understand? It's just coming down to you pathetic people, that retired judge, of how low he will go to marry off his daughter and then got used, and it serves him right. And then he dumped her. And then when he dumped her, they came down and started taking it out on me, where they kicked in my door because they're pathetic. Started stalking me and photoshopping me. And I'll tell you what, I was so drugged up within the second week, I could mow Lennox like it was nothing. And I go out and I do 2 swipes and I almost pass out. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Go in and get a cold can of something to drink, Diet Coke, and sit down, and I go to do another strip and I almost pass out. And that's how I met my neighbor, the male nurse. He comes over and he said, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm actually a nurse and I see you struggling. I'll mow your lawn for you. It's like, I don't have money to pay you. He's like, neighbors don't pay each other. And I said, well, I'd feel bad. He's like, don't. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, I got a grown son. He said, if you see him out there, don't think anything of it. He said, I'll just get my riding lawnmower and mow it off. I said, but I'd feel bad if I didn't pay you. Neighbors don't pay each other. And that's how I met him. They had me so drugged up, I couldn't even stand up straight one day in the second week. I had bruises I couldn't explain. There was times I had to go out and work in the yard. I'd be fine. Come in and wash my hands, make myself something to eat or drink, go in and use the restroom, wash my hands really good, sit down, take a drink, and then all of a sudden be dizzy and hours would pass. You know, some of my protective light people, because I'd have bruises on me I couldn't explain, how would you like to wake up with bruises and not know what happened to you? It's like my neighbor Mike in the bar. I went outside my apartment one morning last year, and he came up to me, Karen, I got a problem. Or he came up to me and said, I got a problem. And I said, what's that? He's like, I don't know how I got home. I've been sitting there for hours. And I said, just go sleep it off. He's like, you don't understand. I've been sitting there for hours. I don't know how I got home. I said, what do you remember? The second beer. He's like a really big guy. And I'm like, he's like, I got a worse problem. I got $80 in my pocket. I'm like, check your bank. You took $100 out. He's like, but what was in the box with mustard and how did I change my shoes? I'm like, oh, dear God, they roofied him. Go sleep it off. He went back to that bar, and under tape and audio in that bar, during the second beer, he started acting crazy and telling everybody he was an astronaut and all kinds of crazy stuff, and he drove around high all night. That's not funny. They could have told him to say something stupid, and he will never know it. He didn't even know about the astronaut thing for 5 months. These people are ridiculous and not funny. The date rape drugs are sleepwalking. And I've never been questioned. I've never spoke to anyone. And so what are you talking about? The druggers and kidnappers and extortionists and the stalkers with photoshopping? I don't get in trouble and they can't look at their shit. And they didn't have a court order. I was talking to my one friend that worked at the prosecutor's office, and I said they tried to lie that they had a court order. He started laughing. He said, this is a fraud scheme. I said, that judge would be writing his own arrest warrant. He said, I know they would, because they're not going to admit, ever put it in writing. that they are breaking the constitutional laws of right to privacy, right to remain quiet, a right to an attorney, a right to a fair court trial, and a right not to be mistreated. They're not going to, and that's why the police are up there are saying, we have no idea what you're talking about, what those people are saying. It's illegal. And we could never look or listen. I need some, and even my friend that worked at the prosecutor, after the way that agent talked to you, what he did was illegal. And it's no excuse that no one's helped you so far. No, it isn't. It was a setup. August 10th, 11th of 22, Walmart 62 by the hair salon. Dragon-head woman, Michelle's mother, starts following me. And they're like, we called Will, we explained to him about Michelle, and he said that nobody ever help her. And it's funny, no one will do the right thing and help her. It's actually funny. You know what? And then I thought, setup. It was a setup. I tried to tell him about the guy threatened to knife me by Huntington Bank. He had him under tape and audio. You liar. I said, that lady, that's what he said to me. I went, what? I had it under Giant Eagle and Huntington Bank, tape and audio, witnesses around me. It was a fiasco. I said, the Pizza Hut lady said that she got paid to watch me. The banker's screaming at her, you either confess your line or I'll arrest you. They can't and he's like, you hear me? He starts screaming at me. And I'm like, whatever. You know why he did that? Because he could have nailed Dave. And they had already cut a deal. What he did was tampering with evidence, hindering a witness and tampering with a witness of a violent crime and a victim. And he can go to jail for that. And he can go to jail for acknowledging the girlfriend. Do you know if he has a girlfriend? Honestly, I don't know. Guy starts rambling him back. Stop. She doesn't know. He knew who was doing it. And then I'll list you an informant. But if you tell someone, I'll list you crazy. You can't list somebody crazy just because they tell someone. That's a setup. And that's you not caring. And you can't do that. And that is victimizing a victim and you being an accessory. Only thing he said legal out of his mouth was, I'll list you as an informant, da-da-da-da, and I'll put you in, you know, make sure not, you know, and da-da-da-da, all the promises. And he did nothing. He did nothing even when he knew he had Dave recorded that my daughter-in-law and granddaughter was next, and they had a list. He was that dirty in his own voice. He knew, like those teenagers said, he knew everything. And he just didn't want to bother. Like they said, they explained, Michelle, how much money did it cost him to explain, to break the law? Because he knew no one was allowed in my house and he should have arrested him. And yeah, like the security guard said, they always knew those tapes before with them and not me, so they never said a word. He knew everything. He took a fucking payoff. I turned this into the Department of Justice. I turned it into them. They, in his own admission, in his own stupid words, were on a recorded line. He acknowledged the girlfriend. He was cruel. He was committing crimes of tampering with a witness, tampering with evidence, and then setting somebody up with no help. You can't do that, and you can go to jail for the rest of your life for that. And it's not legal.